Thank you. The open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Saturday, September 13th, 2014, and 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. and Monday, September 15th at 6 p.m. on Channel 14, webcast at sacmetrocable.tv. Open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district's website at metrofire.ca.gov. Public opportunities to discuss matters of public interest within the jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda, are provided. And Board Clerk, do we have some speakers?
We do have some speakers this evening. Would Mr. Grandinetti please join us at the front podium?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Mike Grandinetti. I drove all the way from Rio Linda. I had to change my time on my watch when I got over here, but I'm glad to be here. I'm a former Marine, Sergeant in the Marine Corps, so I have a lot of respect for the uniformed gentlemen. And I'm here to talk about the Rio Linda Country Fair. We have a country fair coming up this Saturday. And in fact, the museum will be open. Roger may allude to that later. The museum will be open for display. We'll showcase a number of things in our community. But it's also a free event. And what we've come up against, I was shocked to see that we got an inspection, a fire inspection for the tune of $400 and something. And then for each booth, the fee of $23. And then an overtime charge because we're done on a Saturday of another $350. Almost a $1,000 bill that we received for our fire inspection. That's a tenth of our budget. And now I know you've recently gone through some review on how to implement fees fairly across the county. And I'm here to kind of advocate for some type of waiver, some type of understanding, or understanding of individual cases, because we have a free event coming up in Rio Linda. Everything is free for the children. Free rock climbing, free bounce houses, free snow cones, free art gallery, free magic show. I go on. Everything is free for this community. And of all communities, Rio Linda, as you know, needs something like this to pull the community together, to showcase not just the museum, not just the fire department, but our community. And one of the organizations in that community who I also speak for, Friends of Dry Creek Parkway. We're one of the first to adopt the Creek program out in Rio Linda. We're out there cleaning it up, getting rid of that red suspania, and more importantly, taking care of the homeless issue, moving them on. We know the fire threat that they pose, not just in the American River Parkway, but in our very own Dry Creek Parkway. So I'm trying to conduct an event in our community to bring such great organizations like the Friends of Dry Creek Parkway to the forefront in our community. Bring people together. And also, this started with our centennial, and we kind of kept it going, our country fair. And I had an ulterior motive, was to create a network of first responders, because when the stuff hits the fan, we know out in Rio Linda, we're going to have to deal with it ourselves. Over the Dry Creek Parkway, we studied the watershed and the flooding issues. That is a real issue for Rio Linda. Out of this country fair, my ulterior motive was to create a network. I can mobilize over 300 people to get sandbags, to quarantine, or whatever is going to be needed in a first responder response. And in fact, your CERT program will be at our fair to promote the very programs we're talking about. So someone told me, I said, this is outrageous. I've been an advocate for children for many years, and now I work with juvenile delinquents. And I said, who do I talk to? And my division representative said, well, come to the board. And so I'm here. Now I know sometimes it's not the policy of the fire chiefs or the battalion chiefs to make exceptions or waiver fees, but I'm asking to look at this situation as an individual basis, as you will on a lot of your fee applications. Maybe reevaluate the entire process to realize these organizations, we're nobody. We work with the foundation to get some shelter and support, but we're just citizens that have pulled together to put on a huge event for our community. And we want to be able to do that without, like I'm saying, a tenth of our budget going to a fire inspection and then overtime. When else do you expect the fairs to go on? Of course, on Saturdays. So the overtime equation really threw me off, and so I'm here to appeal the process. Please take a look at it. Maybe we can get an inspector who would be willing to volunteer their time that day. There's ways to be creative. I teach business across the country. I understand your business model with fees. I understand no money, no mission. But I'm asking also to look at the investment in an event like this, that it's not just about fees, it's supporting a group that really wants to bring up community together, create a safety network of responders, and create a goodwill feeling in our community that you all know well that we need in Rio Linda. So I just came here to share my opinion to the board. I'm not sure the whole process of what I needed to do, but this is the first step. And I've advocated for children my whole life, and now I'm advocating for my community.
Sir, if I could interrupt for just a second. We do have a 3-minute restriction. We're happy to extend this for you, but I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Sure, and I'm trying to represent an organization which I thought had a little more time, but I'm done. Here's our information here, our flyers, a great response that we're trying to do, so I'm not sure the process, if there's some way, and maybe it's not for our own event. Maybe it's from other community that needs this type of support to really evaluate what is the return on our investment. Can we look at this as a case? And I'd beseech you to try to consider that for us, Rio Linda, and we've already paid the bill. But as I look at it, like, wow.
Do we,
Any questions?
if, one perhaps, or more, but we have your contact information, is that correct?
You do now, yes.
Okay. Chief?
Yeah, Director, actually, thank you very much tonight for coming out before the board. We actually really appreciate you coming and giving of your time. And in the back is Deputy Chief, or Assistant Chief, excuse me, Darren Taylor. He's going to hopefully get with you. We can get your contact information, get you in touch with our Fire Community Risk Reduction Division. Yeah, we would like to discuss the concepts that you're, key to your concerns, see if there's some ability to work with you or speak with you to some sort of a solution that's amiable, and then we can work with you in that direction. And lastly, I'd like to thank you for your service as a Marine. Thank you.
Pleasure to serve. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. And gentlemen, we'll see you in the neighborhood. Roger, we'll see you at home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Moving then to the consent agenda.
We have another speaker.
Oh, we have another speaker.
Yes. Mr. Roger Mitchell.
Welcome back.
Board of Directors, Chief Wells, audience. I come before you tonight asking for a favor, not like the gentleman before me, but the administrator for the Rio Linda Alberta Recreation and Park District has written 2 grants to help with the work on Old Station 111 and the restoration with Rio Linda's second engine. We are now collecting letters of support for those grants to deliver to our supervisor, Roberta McGlashan. We have letters of support presently from, bear with me, the board from the Rio Linda Recreation and Park District. Director Monk is our director from area number 1, the Rio Linda Grange, Rio Linda Chamber of Commerce, and then from our elected official from the Twin Rivers Twin Rivers School District, Mr. Bob Bastian. So I'm simply asking a letter of support for these 2 grants. I do have with me this evening an unsigned copy of what they had said from the Park District, so you could certainly look at that. But I'm just asking for your consideration for a letter of support for those 2 grants that have came from the Rio Linda Recreation and Park District on behalf of this firehouse and fire truck restoration. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure that we even need to have any kind of an action item. I think the president of the board, through consensus, can sign a document that shows our support. So as one member of the board, I throw my support behind doing something like that.
Director Monk.
Just by way of additional information on it, this is part of the block grant program that's out annually. And we're very fortunate to have the Park District, who's our partner with Old Station 111, and they were gracious enough to write the grants, and for our benefit, for our mutual benefit, the Park District and the Fire District, so I support them.
I don't sense that there's any level of concern about supporting this initiative, and be happy to do whatever we can.
Thank you, Director. I'll be happy to facilitate that, to deliver to the board clerk a copy of the one that came from the Park District, so that might give her some information.
Absolutely.
To prepare that for your signature. So thank you, all of you, for your continued
One
support.
question, what's our timeline?
ASAP, sir. That
Okay.
was put on us by people beyond our control, so.
And just an additional thing, all of the letters of support are going to our supervisor, Roberta McGlashan, for her support in supporting the block grant program to our benefit, so.
What I would ask additionally, not knowing any of the board members' calendar or the chief's calendar, but we would like to present all of these letters in a meeting with Supervisor McGlashan, and knowing the new chief is going to be extremely busy, but whether he would be able to, or yourself as the president of the board, certainly we've asked Director Monk, because we'd like to go down with 10 or 15 people. I think numbers sometimes can always be influential when we all hand those letters in. So if the chief and/or any other member of the board would like to go with us, we'll certainly give you a time frame.
Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your efforts. And do we have another speaker?
That's all for this evening.
All right, thank you. So moving then to the consent agenda,
Mr. Chair, I'll move the consent item.
have a motion and a second. Would the board clerk please call the roll?
Director Monk?
Aye.
Wood? Aye. Scheidegger? Aye. Gould?
Aye.
Pearson?
Aye.
Clark? Aye. Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
And Orzali?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving then to the presentation item for the September 11th tribute, Captain Beard.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President, directors, Chief Wells. Thank you for having me here. I am Captain Tim Beard, currently assigned to training as the drill master for our current Fire Recruit Academy. About a week ago, the board clerk actually approached me and asked me to put together a little something for the board because this meeting was taking place in 9/11. And a moment of silence was mentioned. And I think that I owe a little bit more to the board. Because if you're not aware of what your department members and what your community is doing out there, because of the support of the command staff and many, many Metro volunteers and the 522, I think you ought to know about it. So I'm just going to go over a couple little things that are happening each year on 9/11, or around 9/11. This is the 13th anniversary of September 11th, 2001. The first thing we put together was a stair climb. 6 years ago, we started one. And that's mainly for firefighters. So 343 firefighters get together that day, and they climb 110 stories for those firefighters from New York that didn't get to go home that night. We put their names on our back to cover up our own names. We climb the towers, and we ring a bell at the end. And that is strictly for those firefighters. All proceeds that we raise from the climb go directly to the FDNY. So 2 years into that, we started thinking about, there was 2,977 people in the community that didn't get to go home that day. That includes the 343 firefighters, but we weren't including them in any of these ceremonies. So we decided to plan a run, a way to get the community out. I actually had some of the board members there helping me drill holes and place nameplates. So we put together a pentagon-shaped memorial, and in this memorial are all 2,977 names, with a hole drilled for each, and we put an American flag by each of those names. The runners do as they cross the finish line. So that was a way that we could interact with the community and get them involved to remember every year. And those funds we do use more locally. We've partnered up with law enforcement and fire widows and orphans organizations locally, as well as active duty military and veteran services work with 3 groups right now that do various things to help our vets recover and help their families when they get home. So, and I think Michelle put together a little video of today's event, kind of just bring you guys up to date.
The attacks were on the other side of the country. The brotherhood between those in the fire service knows no borders. In Sacramento, firefighters from across Northern California joined in the annual tradition of climbing 110 floors to honor those who died. Brian Hickey was there and has a look at the exhausting tribute. In the crowded and hot stairwells of Sacramento's Renaissance Tower, 343 firefighters climbed their way to the top, each carrying the name of a firefighter killed on 9/11.
By climbing today, you honor the memory of those that have gone before.
And some of them were friends of New York firefighter Lieutenant Ray McCormick.
By being here today, you honor their memory. I'll be at the top, and I'll shake every hand, because that's the least I can do.
The climb is solemn and difficult. These firefighters climbed the Renaissance Tower's 28 floors 4 times to equal the 110 floors of the World Trade Center.
It's challenging every year to do it, and you just kind of think about what those guys are going through at that day, and it's just a way to remember them and just.
So I can't say that it does really take your breath away to see what 343 firefighters really looks like. I encourage you, if you have the time one year, to come down and take a look at that lobby, or come join us at the run. We'd love to have you. I did provide the board clerk with a bio for each of you to read, and that's what we get when we climb the stairs. Each of them contains some information about one of the firefighters, so his family or hobbies, just little fun facts. And then the last thing I'd like to do is if you'd like to join me in a moment of silence, if I can. Okay, thank you very much. That was roughly the amount of time that it took each tower to, once it started collapsing, to hit the ground. So roughly 12 seconds.
Wow.
Captain, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was an excellent presentation.
Gotta be difficult for all those families.
Looking at the agenda, we're now going to adjourn into closed session.
Do you wonder if we ought to just finish up everything, then go into closed session? Since
Well, we certainly can. We can finish up the rest of this in
They get done with all the reports, they can leave.
then that's just fine.
Yeah.
So-
Mr. Chair, I think that's good.
Okay. Then, moving then to President's report, and there are 2 things. I want to take a moment to congratulate the new chief and welcome him into this slot. I know it's not official, so on and so forth, but the reality is that we have a new chief, and this gentleman is going to do an extraordinary job for us. Chief Wells is eminently qualified, and I can tell both Chief Wells and Chief Holbrook that having sat on a lot of panels, I have never sat on one that was tougher than this. And so, congratulations. We all look forward to working with you, and this is going to be another chapter in Metro's history.
Thank you very much. Directors, Director Roselli, Truly, I'm honored and humbled and look forward to the future. Incredible opportunities ahead of us, an incredible command team to be able to work with. And the men and women of Metro Fire are truly the best in the industry, and we're going to move forward. Thank you.
The other item in the President's report, we unofficially like to talk a little bit about the Public Safety Foundation's first golf tournament. And we've got an unofficial but fairly solid number of $22,000 that was brought in for the support of Fire Camp. And that's a great start for a foundation, and I so appreciate all the work that everyone has put into it. So, thank you, and with that, we'll move on to the Chief's report.
Well, thank you, directors. Actually, I'm sitting in tonight. Chief Hinkie is actually in Oregon at the Western Fire Chiefs Association. They call it FORCE, Fire Officer and Ranking Chief Executives. So he'll be up coming home tomorrow, I believe, in the morning. Meetings and events attended. Obviously, we had the golf tournament that we all participated in last week, Swing for Public Safety Golf Tournament. You know, we could probably have more fundraising for the many mulligans that were used in that, and foot wedges and sharpening of the pencils is the best club. So that was a very good experience. It was fun to be out there. I can tell you that the group that put that together from Metro Fire, you know, Larry and the team and everybody, and Brenda Briggs and her entire staff, the board clerk and everybody else that worked on that program, unbelievable for the first opportunity. You would have thought that that was an annual event for the last 10 years. Truly a worthy cause, and I think a lot of folks came out that from all over the place, different law enforcement to, I know the union was there, and very well attended. So thank you for that, and a great effort on the staff's part. They did a great job. I'd like to, and I think he's probably run off already, unfortunately. You know, Captain Beard, who addressed tonight about the run to remember that happened on this last Sunday, and then on 9/11 today, the stair climb that happens. You know, the interesting thing about that, and he is so humble that he won't tell you about it, is himself and Matt Cole, Aaron Montgomery, and Tim Beard, and Alex Trevino, I believe, sat around a Metro Fire coffee table one day, and that was what was relayed to the rest of us this morning before the climb started. And 4 Metro Fire employees sat there and said, we need to do something. We need to honor this horrific event that happened in our nation's history. And this has been a stair climb that's been going, I believe, since 2006. Truly a powerful moment. If you've never had the opportunity to be there, I would highly recommend somebody gets the opportunity to do that, because very humbling for all of us, and to be able to sit there and just be embraced in the fire service and the tradition, and truly the spirit as you watch them climbing the stairs. Imagine if you would walk in the stairs that day in the World Trade Center. So, and also I'd like to also recognize the Pentagon, and also in Pennsylvania as well. This is a very much broader than just the World Trade Center, for sure, and the event in our nation's history, and the men and women that have gone overseas to protect us from further harm. So big shout out for that. And those guys did a phenomenal job today. The League of Cities, we went down, the fire chief, Chief Holbrook and I, Chief Cockrum, Chief Clough were down at the League of Cities. Very good, well-attended event, a lot of information and networking. Of course, the fantastic job that our crews did. I know Battalion Chief Griggs put together the air show last weekend, the 6th and 7th. Great event as always. Talked to the CERT team a little bit. Very well and appreciated efforts on all the people that volunteer for this agency, and they go out and help support that. We had people on bikes, and logistics, I know, helps with a tremendous amount. So very well done. We had a graduation academy, the 14-2 on the 8th of September. Have 11 recruits. Let's see. AB 678 press conference with the city of Sacramento. This was a press conference that was actually held, let's see here. I guess that's going to be in October. It's going to be in Carmichael at one of our stations for us at Metro, but we actually held the press conference yesterday down at the City of Sacramento Station 2. Very well done. Our PIO, as always, Captain Item. She does a phenomenal job with that. And upcoming meetings, we have, and events, we have the Carolyn Martinez Foundation Golf Tournament, and that is going to be on the 20th of September. And there's also that same day, the Safetyville USA Firefighter Chili Cook-Off from 12 to 4 p.m. I don't have any further information as far as, do we have people actually involved in that cooking? I believe we do. Yeah, two groups. So, and then we have, of course, at the end of the month, the Cal Chiefs Annual Conference in Long Beach that'll be well attended by command staff. We have, let's see, no new hires to report right now. And one I would like to say is firefighter Dave Ball, 22 years of service, retired. Had the pleasure of working side by side with Dave for a number of years. We wish him well into retirement. Phenomenal firefighter and definitely will be missed. And with that, that closes my report.
Charles Jenkins, Battalion Chief Metro Fire, and I work Battalion 14 over here in Rancho Cordova. I'm doing the operations report for Operations Division. So since the last board meeting, the district ran 3,611 total calls, 17 working fires, 11 vegetation fires, and 2,957 EMS calls. Out of that, they transported 2,208, and which is a transport rate of just under 75%. 17 pub ed programs were attended. And now the seriousness part of our job when we talk about 9/11 is August 29th, we had a 2-alarm commercial structure where one of our firefighters fell through the roof. Went out and looked at the building, it's about a 20-foot fall. And I think most of us that have been out there are kind of surprised that he was not killed or seriously hurt. It happened when he was getting ready to perform vertical ventilation, and the firefighter was transported and treated for minor burns. Moving on, Metro Fire, in cooperation with Sacramento County Sheriffs and RCPD, provided staffing to make this year's Capitol Air Show that Chief Wells went over a success. We did run quite a few medical aid calls at the event, and as far as the air show, had no issues, and everything went off with a good turnout. Also, again, to thank Chief Griggs for all the work. I know that is a year-long process that he goes through preparing that successful event for the agency. And to end, the media monitoring with all the media outlets through the last month since the last board meeting. They had a total viewership, I know Chief Taylor brought this up at the last meeting, of 483,565 viewers for issues that happened, Metro Fire issues that happened within the media outlets. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving into General Counsel's report.
Yes, Director Orzali, all I'd like to say is I'd like to congratulate Chief Wells on his appointment. I've worked with Chief Wells for some years and Chief Holdruck for some years on day-to-day operations involving legal issues. And I think that from where I sit, I can say that the district's very fortunate to have two individuals to vie for the position to take over the reins as the Chief Executive Officer of this district. And with that said, I think Chief Wells will be a great fire chief, and I congratulate him on his performance, or on his selection. On performance, I was thinking about the Public Safety Foundation Golf Tournament. I enjoyed that very much. If my playing partners would have made a few more putts, we would have finished in a higher position. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
So with that, moving into Firefighters Local 522. And we don't have a representative this evening, so moving into committee and delegates reports. The Executive Committee and the Executive Committee did not meet this evening and does not have a next scheduled event. Moving on to the Communications Center, JPA.
Chief Cochran was unable to attend tonight. He had no report relative to the GPA. Their next meeting is in this chamber, 9 a.m. 1 week from today.
Thank you, Chief. Then the California Firefighters Rescue Training, JPA, with Director Kelly.
Yes, as I last reported out, the JPA is meeting Thursday next week, and I was hoping that Mr. Gould would be able to fill his alternate's position and cover that meeting for me.
And I've advised them that 9 o'clock doesn't work for me, and they're working on trying to change the time.
Excellent, thank you.
Moving to the Finance Committee and Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met this evening, and we had excellent presentations, one of which I have requested they forward the PowerPoint presentation to each member of our board. That will, so look in your in basket, electronic in basket, for a California Employer Benefit Trust Annual Update, a very informative presentation on OPEB. And one of the, well, there were many, many items. Please peruse it, take a look. I think it's excellent background, excellent foundational information for all of us moving forward. A very important couple aspects that came out for me is that as long as we fund our ARC, our annual required contribution, our potential rate of return is at 7.25. And if we fail to do that, it drops to 5 or below. So we have an incredible percentage, a significant percentage increase for incentive for maintaining our ARC. And again, there's a lot of information here. You can find it in the report. The bottom line we got from Ken Campo was very promising in that he says it looks like we are even for the year. Losses, revenues, or expenditures, revenues balanced out. And when you're looking at a $160 million operation, that's pretty good planning. So thank you, Ken, for your service and all the staff associated with the Finance Department. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And the Policy Committee with Director Pearson.
We have not met since our last meeting, and we have no meeting planned.
Thank you. Now we can move into, do we want to move into closed session now or go through? Then let's just adjourn into closed session and we'll do that and we'll be returning.
You know?
Yep.
It's always funny how you get, I want both sides of the, oops.
I got it.
With that, we'll reconvene into open session, and legal counsel, would you report out on closed session?
Yes, thank you, Director Orzali. The board met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 to consider the industrial disability retirement issues pertaining to employee Harley Dawn. No action was taken. That matter will be up for public vote in tonight's meeting. The board also met with its labor negotiator pursuant to the items set forth on the closed session. No action was taken.
Thank you. Moving then back to the action items.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we adopt the action item to industrially retire Fire Captain Don Hara.
Second.
I'll second.
I have a motion in multiple seconds. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Monk?
Aye.
Wood?
Aye.
Scheidegger?
Aye.
Gould?
Aye.
Pearson?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
And Rosali?
Aye.
Motion passes.
See, moving then to the, let's see,
Board members' questions and comments.
oh yeah, the board members, thank you. And we'll begin with Director Monk.
Although he's not here, I wanted to thank Mr. Granetti for coming and talking to the board tonight about his concerns. I know him from the different groups that he works with in Rio Linda, and they mean well, but they're not from an organized group, so it's a bunch of citizens getting together to put on these. I would feel more comfortable if it was a club or group or something like that that was doing it, where we had a club that we could go to meetings and ask questions, or somebody that would be responsible. If an individual had a problem with the fees that are charged for our permits, et cetera, and came to the board, we would look at that and consider it and refer it back to our people. That's the reason why we have the permit fees and everything in the first place. His point is well taken that they may be a nonprofit group, but the problem is they're not a nonprofit organization. They're using somebody else's nonprofit to raise funds in the community, that's honorable, but it's kind of a technical basis as to who do we support? Do we support groups, or do we support individuals in this case? It's something for the board to consider and recommend changes. That's it.
Thank you. Director Wood.
Just briefly, Chief Holbrook, I want to thank Captain Beard for his presentation. Phenomenal job. Another example of our men and women here that do great job of the work they do and the assignments above and beyond what they're asked. Great presentation. Ken, you and Ron earlier in the Finance Committee, I appreciate the details. Apologize for my tardiness. I wish I had Chief Cockram's car. I would have been able to get through traffic faster. But I do appreciate the thought, the thoroughness, and the manner in which you lay things out. It makes it very easy to understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Scheidegger.
Thank you. Today is 9/11, obviously, and a very poignant moment in our nation's history. Obviously, we all want to remember the victims, the families. Also want to remember the valiant first responders that were there. Some of the, I guess you'd say, second responders are from this agency. And I guess the corollary the public needs to understand is that our people are out there putting their lives on the line like that all the time. Witness the firefighter from Metro that just took a 20-foot fall, and I thank God that he was not hurt worse. I'd also like to congratulate Chief Wells, welcome you, and I know you'll do a great job. His competition was terrific, and I'm real proud of both the competitors. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Gould.
Thoughts and prayers with anyone that's been affected by 9/11, anyone at any level. Our thoughts and prayers go to them. And then finally, just make my colleagues aware of the fact that next board meeting I will not be here. I'll be on a plane taking care of my widowed mother.
Thank you. And Director Pearson.
Being 9/11, I wanted to, again, offer my thanks to everybody that helped out with the firefighters and showed great deal of support for the firefighters during that time. But it continues, and I think sometimes we forget that. You know, we mentioned that we sent some people there to help clean up. There's lots of different injuries that you can have. The person that, firefighter that fell through the roof, that's definitely an injury. But then you have the multiple calls that they go out on and the things that they see and have to deal with, and the mental anguish that takes a toll on the firefighters and any first responder. So I think we need to remember that also, and don't just think of the big physical injuries. I mean, yeah, we did lose 343 firefighters, but we lost other firefighters after that incident when they went back there and had to help clean that up, go through that. When you're picking through and you see these damaged helmets, you know, one of the things that hit me with that was, you know, you could hear the past alarms going off after the towers fell, and that just indicates that a firefighter's not moving. So, and there were a lot of them going off. So there's a lot of different injuries, and I just would ask people to remember that and support your first responders, your police and firefighters for what they're suffering. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Clark.
Mr. Chairman, I echo the sentiments of the directors that spoke before me regarding 9/11. And also, I'd like to congratulate the new chief. And also, it was a very, very, very difficult decision, but we had to make one. And thank you for being in there, and hopefully you stay with us. We'd love to, you know, be blessed with your services many more years, if at all possible. Also, last meeting I promised to thank some of the guys on they were at Station 12 that helped me out with Grantland Johnson, and I have the paper this time. It was Engine 12C, and it was Captain Walters, Engineer Holloway, Firefighter Bisbulia, Firefighter Alvarado, and then we had Medic 6C, also Firefighter, was it Derlick, and then Rittmeyer. Those are the names that I had, and I want to thank them, and they were very gracious and helpful with Grantland Johnson, actually in his final day or two, and was greatly appreciated. So.
Thank you. Director Kelly.
Wanted to, again, extend my congratulations to you, Chief. And Chief Holbrook, you have my utmost admiration and respect. I would like to urge us to maybe stand one more moment of silence at the close of the meeting. Thank you.
That's appropriate.
There's
Director
nothing
Jones.
more I can add.
So with that, a moment of silence. Thank you. And only one other comment. Again, congratulating the chief, and we look forward to working with you, and we are adjourned.
Okay, gentlemen.
Thanks, Grant. You're welcome. Sorry for the circumstance.
Yeah, it's, no, I mean, you know what, it's what I do.
Yeah.